Juan was grinning at me. What? I said irritably. You fixed your shirt 3 times. You're nervous. Oh, fuck off. That made his grin widen. Mackenzie and Bunny sitting in a tree. Kissing. I leveled him with my finest glare. I'll stake you while you sleep. He laughed aloud. You look fine, Mac. You can get any girl you want. Tell her all about the size of your... He winked. Bank account. Or just tell her who your daddy is. She'll be under you in an hour. Anger surged. Hot. And unexpected. Don't talk about her like that. I snarled, fangs snicking down. He blinked. Fuck, what was wrong with me? I took a deep breath and they retracted. Sorry, I muttered, rubbing my face. I was acting like a vamp just turned. I prayed the heat on my neck didn't show. You really like her, he said, startled. I hardly know her, I shot back. It was the truth, but only part of it. I didn't know her, not truly, but something in her called to me in the most primal of ways, and I battled it daily since she'd waltzed into my town. Bunny Barrington was under my skin, and she didn't even know it. Enough talking, let's go, I ordered. Juan nodded, and all hints of his jovial nature faded. Now he was all business, my number 2 and a badass vampire, ready to kill to protect me. We would show nothing but strength to all the other supernats in town. I rolled my neck from side to side. I was wearing a shirt, but it felt too constraining. I rolled up the sleeves. Better. Now, down to business. Who's doing the vigil with Kivuk? I asked. Margrave is with him, Juan said, voice soft. I nodded. I could trust Lee. He'd do right by Kivuk. Let's go. Juan drove us to the Portlock Hotel and parked in the lot out back. You packing? He asked me. I drew back my jacket so he could see the gun at my hip. Silver bullets? He checked. Yes, Mom, I sassed at him, making him grin. Go get her, Tiger. Juan winked, and then melted into the shadows. He wasn't here for the party, he was here for me. He'd be on my 6 all night so I could try and relax and woo the girl. So far, Bunny had appeared to be pretty resistant to wooing. Slow and steady was the name of the game. Like the animal she was named for, sudden movement would have her hopping to safety. I stepped into the ballroom, and my breath caught. She was radiant, ash blonde hair piled onto her head in some sort of classy updo with tendrils falling down, artfully framing her face. Her eyes looked even bigger than normal, and she lit up the room as she laughed at something Sydney said. Her innocent blue dress hit mid-thigh, and everything in me wanted to cross the room and rip it right off. But not here. Not now. I took a deep breath. Slow and steady. I watched, lurking at the edge of the room as she met Sydney's boyfriend, Chris Ubatis. The shifter had only eyes for Sydney, which made me relax a little. He wasn't interested in Bunny. I heard Stan Amagok laughing as he arrived. Casually, I moved to intercept him so we'd both appear to enter at the same time. Stan was the only other man I'd seen looking at Bunny like she was lunch. The urge to rip out his throat and guzzle down his tasty shifter blood almost overwhelmed me for a second. I missed a step. I shoved the urge forcefully down. I hadn't struggled with bloodlust in at least a couple of decades. Having to fight it again told me the strength of whatever the thing was between Bunny and I. When I'd seen her that first day, everything in me had seized. I'd shoved a damn welcome basket at her and run as fast as I could. She sparkled with innocence. She wasn't for me, and yet... here I was. Stan shot me a glare, nose flaring as he scented me. I stepped up my pace just a fraction so that I would reach Bunny first. A tremulous smile crossed her face as she saw me, and she looked down shyly. Hey, Connor, she greeted me. Slow and steady. I grinned at her. Great party. Save me a dance later? She nodded, picking at the hem of her dress. She was nervous. Sure. Have you eaten? Want to get some food? I asked as casually as I could. Stan was right behind me, arms crossed over his chest. You trying to steal my girl? He rumbled. Hot rage roared over me with such strength that I had to fight to tone it down. Damn it, I was Connor Mackenzie. I was in control, not my urges. Excuse me? I managed. It came out in a snarl. We're on a date, Stan said pointedly. Bunny went straight away. Whatever Stan thought, Bunny didn't want to be on a date with him. Just like that, the rage vanished. He didn't know it yet, but Stan wasn't a threat to me. It was suddenly so much easier to breathe, to smirk, and to say pointedly, Did you tell her that? Of course. Stan looked confused, his default expression. He was the definition of brawn, not brains. What's going on here? Bunny sighed softly, eyes flicking longingly to the exits. I meant to invite you to the party as a friend, she said patiently to him. I hope that's okay. I'm not ready to date yet, but I'd love to say a few adults later. Okay. Before either of us could reply, she turned on her heel and fled to the bar. Stan didn't know about the slow and steady rule. He'd come in like a wrecking ball, thank heavens. Who the fuck do you think you are? Stan snarled, squaring up to me. I let a hint of my father's darkness show in my eyes. I am Connor Mackenzie. I laid emphasis on my surname. After all this time, still hiding behind your father's coattails? He sneered. I gave a casual shrug. I hide behind no one and nothing. Back off, Bunny, he spat. I smiled. The words make me were on the tip of my tongue, but I held them back. No, I simply said instead. Juan materialized next to me. We got trouble here, Bear? His voice was low and threatening. His fangs flashed. Stan waited a beat. No, I'm going to get a drink. With my date. He stalked toward the bar. I smiled again. Chase her, and I'll watch her run. Right to me. Stan didn't deal with rejection well. He started his night off with shots and ended with them too. He was currently passed out comatose under the fondue table. I passed the bartender another 50, as he passed me a glass of water. Swapping out Stan's tequila shots for absinthe had been a great move on my part. I still wondered how he didn't pick up on it. Stan was in an absolute state, drooling under the table as he snored loudly. I enjoyed a drink, but I didn't want to be intoxicated for this. I wanted to remember every single moment of Bunny Barrington singing Lover on the top of the table. She had some pretty amazing pipes on her. She torched that song up. The alcohol she downed had loosened her nerves and her hips. I'd enjoy the vision of her swaying on the table for quite some time to come. Pocket talk, Sydney was saying loudly. He's on the top of your sexiest men in Portlock list. Even sexier than Connor Mackenzie? Her tone was incredulous, which I appreciated. I was glad to hear I'd made the cut, even if the slightly more mysterious human was apparently winning the trophy. I'd have to change that. Thomas Pocketak, the man in question, shifted slightly where he sat by the bar. His gaze flicked to Bunny speculatively, and I moved a little closer to her. I met his gaze with a stony face. Mine. A smile pulled at his lips as he raised a glass to me. He turned back to his drink, facing away from my intoxicated little doe. Pocketak was a hunter, a deadly one. We had mutual respect and an uneasy alliance. He wasn't willing to risk that for a piece of tail. She was more than that to me, of course, but he didn't need to know that. The bar staff flicked the lights on, and the music was shut off. No, Bunny moaned dramatically. I haven't danced anywhere near enough yet. Let's go to mine and drink some more. Sydney shook her head. Sorry, Chris and I have plans. He's got some chocolate sauce he wants to put in fun places. Bunny giggled. It's always the quiet ones. Off you go. Have a great night. We'll walk you home first, Sydney promised. Bunny waved the offer away. I'll be fine. I stepped up, offering Bunny a hand to pull her up. I'll see her home, I promised Sydney. I bet you will, Sydney said loudly, with a laugh and an unsubtle wink at Bunny. I kept my amusement inside. Let's get you home. Did you bring a jacket? I asked her. Bunny snorted. I don't need an actual jacket. I have an alcohol coat on, a few tequilas, and I'm toasty. She stumbled a little in her sky-high shoes, and my arm shot out to steady her. I offered her my arm, and she gratefully threaded hers through mine. My knight in shining armor. She batted long eyelashes at me. I made sure Sydney found Chris, and then I walked Bunny to her house. Well, she giggled the whole way. Your arms are so muscly, she purred at me, as she stroked her manicured hand up and down the nearest bicep. I love muscly arms, she cooed at me a little breathily. It was hard not to envision her stroking other muscles of mine. I blew out a long breath. We were at her door. Do you have your key? I asked tightly. I do. I can do it myself, she said as she pawed through her tiny little bag. Whoops. She laughed as she accidentally, on purpose, poured the contents on the floor. She bent over at the waist, giving me a trouser-tightening view. I stifled a groan. From the shadows, I saw Juan smirk at me. I sighed internally. Yep, she was shit-faced. No first kiss for me tonight. Slow and steady it was. I waited patiently while she tried to put the key in the door. After 5 unsuccessful attempts, I casually asked, Shall I get the door for you? I guess you could do that. I'm still a super independent woman, though. You sure are, I agreed, stifling the smile with Herculean effort. I opened the door for her. Fluffy, we're home, she called. Fluffy came to greet her, and she flung her arms around him, momentarily pinning him down with her weight. Fluffy shot me a panicked look. She's a bit tipsy, I said to the dog. No shit, said Juan, grinning. You can go home. I'm going to stay here tonight. Oh, boss, she's wasted. I glared. I'm aware of that, thank you. She's been threatened. She's too drunk to defend herself, so I'm staying. Juan blinked. Even though you're not getting any? Man, you have it bad. Fuck off, I said conversationally. Juan laughed. I'm going. See you later, Mac. I locked up Bunny's house from the inside and rolled down the metal shutters. I flicked on the kettle to make her a cup of tea. In the living room, music blared. She kicked off her heels and was dancing around the room. I set the cup down and set my ass in a chair to watch her gyrate and writhe. I'm no saint. A sexy tune, heavy with bass, came on. She came closer, sashaying those incredibly long legs towards me. I made you a cup of tea, I said, gesturing to the steaming cup. She beamed at me. That's so kind of you. She looked up at me through thick eyelashes. I should reward you for kindness, don't you think? Good deeds should be encouraged, after all. I let my head fall back, lifting my eyes to the ceiling. I was trying very hard to be the good guy here, but she was making it all incredibly hard. Rock hard. She trailed a hand across my thigh, and I caught her wrist before she could do something I wouldn't be able to step back from. Bedtime, I said, my voice thick. Already? She said, eyes wide. Fuck, she was such a goddamn Madonna. Innocent and sweet, but those eyes sparkled at me, and she knew exactly what she was doing to me. Not so innocent then. By yourself, I said firmly. She pouted, teasing me by sticking out deliciously kissable lips. I grabbed the tea and pushed her towards her own bedroom. I set the tea down by her bedside. Drink that before you pass out, I instructed. I stalked out and shut her bedroom door. I leaned back against it and let out a sigh. This night hadn't gone quite how I planned it, but the private dance show had been worth it all, even if I was damned uncomfortable now. Fluffy was laughing at me, tongue lolling out. I deserve a sainthood, I muttered to the dog. He let out an amused yip. I stretched out on the couch and tried hard to think of anything but those pouting lips. Sleep was a long time coming.